you can get out my way. And I don't care what you say. Just let me be great. Big dreams.
Welcome. We are now here live at the Soul Bowl Cafe, Big Dreams TV. I got my boy Johnson in the building. Why are you smiling so hard, bro? Really, dude.
Hey, man.
I know we're around food, but it's okay.
I just had that smothered chicken, man.
Hey. And I got to my right here, I got Coach Billy. Coach Billy, let the fans know who you are.
Yeah, so my name is Billy Shell, and I'm the head coach for the 10U squad over at the Cypress Lake Hornets. Also the president for the Cypress Lake Hornets, and also help out on the board as the football commissioner for Southwest Florida Youth Football League.
Okay. Coach, you can talk up. You know, your wife, you can be sexy when you get home.
She was the first
right
one
now,
on, too.
I need you to talk up.
Uh-oh.
Coach Shannon.
Hello, I'm Shannon Stingle, Lee County Hawks president. I'm the head coach for the U14 team, and been coaching for now 8 years, 6 years with the Hawks.
Right. And I remember when you guys started that program, man. That was huge, man. Big ups to that program. Right now, you wanna go and get into the sponsorship? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, man. We're going to give a big shout out to our sponsors. First is Clam Plumbing.
Yes.
24/7 bail bonds, Platinum Image Barbershop. You know, hey.
Yeah,
Hey, look,
if
look,
you need
hey,
that-
hey, you already know.
Yes.
Hey, CLB Auto Body.
Yes. If
Hey.
you need any cars fixed, accidents, hit them up.
And we at the Soul Bowl right now.
Soul Bowl Cafe.
Hey, Tuesdays and Thursdays, come and get your smothered chicken and rice. So good. It made me want to slap your coach up. Wednesdays and Fridays, meatloaf and mashed potatoes. So good. Make you hey, I know you draw. I ain't gonna slap you. Saturdays, 50-cent wings and smothered pork chops and yellow rice, man. So good.
Make you want to slap your coach.
Slap
So
him.
now that we're doing that, we're giving away 3 free meals. So the first caller to call the Soul Bowl Cafe right now gets a free meal. Before we get into this, the number is 239-332-0708. That number, once again, 239-332-0708. Call in and get that free meal. I know there's a lot of hungry people out there. Hey, Mr. Wayne giving away a free meal. So now we're going to get into these questions for these presidents/coaches. So, Coach Shannon, what's the number one expectation you have for your program?
That's a great question. I got to say that's a really good question because it's more than just really one thing, but as a whole, our goal is to get the kids involved, to get as many kids as we can teach the fundamentals of football. And with that being said, being that football is a violent contact sport, as I call it, is to get them to be aggressive and controlled anger, to get them prepared for the world in the sense of what life is going to bring them, being able to stay fundamentally sound and unleash that inner beast, if you will, get that anger out of them, but have it where they can be controlled, that we can be coachable, so that someday that they will also be coachable in life, whether it be in a job or preparing them for success as a leader.
See, hey, I like that, Coach. You seem like you had that written down on your cards. We the only one got cards, but professional answer. I love it. Now, you had a chance to taste the smothered pork chop. Please tell. And you had some collard greens.
I'm gonna tell you what. First of all, the smothered pork chop was phenomenal. I'm being serious, but it's been a long time since I had some good collard greens like that, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Since my grandma passed, I don't think I've had collard greens that good.
Soul Bowl Cafe. You heard it from the man right here, Shannon. Collard greens on point.
So good, make you want to slap your coach. And they've been both done.
I have no problem. I'll eat another batch and I'll slap Billy around.
Oh, you say you're going to slap him around on Saturday? Oh,
Not last
shots
Saturday,
fired.
Not last Saturday, though.
Shots fired.
So, Coach Billy, what's the number one expectation you have for your program?
You know, the same thing that Shannon talked about. I mean, you know, being a youth football coach, I mean, there's a lot of pride and a lot of responsibility that comes with that. And I think the biggest thing is making sure these kids understand that, yeah, we're here to teach them the fundamentals of football, but there's more to life than just that, and there's consequences, also outside of, football. Yeah. So we try to take that, from outside life into football where they're not doing well in school, they're not doing the things they're supposed to be doing at home. We want to hold them accountable for that, let them understand that there's more to it than just sports and just football. So.
Right. All right, I want to know the style. Are you guys more like Jerry Jones, like all in the field, always talking, or you all in the videos, or you more like a Robert Kraft, like just stay in the background?
As a president, I got to say I become more in the background.
Yeah.
Definitely. When I was the athletic director, I was all up in the business. I was out there.
You was PD
well, they used to call me the rah-rah coach because I was always cheering them on all day long. But since I've had to take the next step in being the president, I've kind of let it sit back and try to encourage them, after the day, keep my criticism, if you will, or critiquing my coaching of the coaches a little bit, during the week in practice. Let them do what they do.
Yeah, we both. I mean, we kind of came on the scene at the same time. We probably pretty much did the same thing with head coach in first year, and then like assistant athletic director second year for a couple years.
Exactly.
AD, vice president, president. We pretty much have done the same role, if you would, at both organizations. So in the first 4 years of their organization, we actually weren't even in their league during that time. But we used to.
We had a good relationship.
We were unlimited weight also with AYF. We used to do a lot of like cross games, things like that, and actually, play each other. So. We've got a long relationship, but I'm pretty much the same way now. I mean, they kind of make fun of me, too, because even when I'm coaching on the side, I'm always furthest point away. I think you see it whenever you're out there.
All the time.
I'm always furthest point away, and, I mean, we got some really good coaches, so they can definitely handle themselves. They don't need me out there by any means, and it's just maybe one more coach, one more kid that I can get to compared to maybe another coach because, coaches can get the kids differently.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Well, coaching and being the president is much different. Yeah. What would you say if you knew right now that you would be doing different right when you started to be president? What is one of the lessons that you've learned that you had no idea about from your from coaching to president?
I think we were kind of talking about it earlier. It's knowing every level then, because before you're kind of just concentrated on your level. Maybe, half of the kids, the level above because you're coaching them maybe every other year, some of the kids below. But, for the most part, it's getting to know all the kids, getting to know from, 5-year-olds all the way up to the 14-year-olds. And before it's not that I have blinders on, it's just that's, again, like we said, our roles were not as involved as what they are now. So I think that's probably the biggest thing is just making sure you reach out and every age group.
I got to say, probably the biggest is knowing all the coaches. I pretty much have always known the kids because, be honest with you, the kids want to please you. They're a lot easier to get along. Sometimes trying to get to know all the names of all the coaches, getting to know they're all different personalities has probably been one of the bigger. Because, kid, like I tell people all the time, if you try to coach every kid the same, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Exactly.
Well, I had to learn that the same kind of concept when I'm dealing and trying to coach up coaches or just let them know I'm there for them. And sometimes some are approachable and some are kind of, I got this, step aside.
Right.
And trying to get into that where let them know I'm just here if you need me. I think that's probably been the biggest thing I've had to change since being president.
Definitely. So right now, if you tune in, like, share the show, make sure you go to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Right now, we have our first winner, Xavier McDonald. Shout out to my boy X. He's up there all the way from a mile. I don't know. This is a Dunbar kicker.
Really?
Yes. So guess what? After the Dunbar game, you guys got to win. You can come get you a free meal.
Yeah.
Bigs up.
Hey, if you missed that kick again, hey,
Right,
sorry. Hey, I'm sorry.
Spike your food.
Hey, yeah, I'm taking that plate. Okay.
So we all understand that coaching is not a paying job. You feel me? And how do you go about building a successful organization from the top? And also, making sure, your coaches understand, like you were saying, with the kids. Do you guys go to coaching clinics? That's something you guys interested in doing? Mm-hmm. Like, tell me, how do you guys make it, where you have an organization where the whole organization succeeds?
Well, this year with the Hawks, I remember the first day that the Hawks approached me about coaching 6-year-olds.
Right.
First, when I went in and interviewed, and they called me back and told me I got the position, I was ecstatically excited. So next thing you know, I was online, of course, trying to find a coach's clinic. And I went to 4 or 5, something like that, coaching clinics just in 2 months prior to going in there. And I remember how much I learned. Just, I played football and all that, but different concept, different mentality of coaching. So to prepare myself. Well, this year, we have had coaches clinics, but we didn't have one last year. This year, Coach Del Moore at Cape Coral High School, he hosted a coaches clinic for my entire staff, for the entire Lee County Hawks staff. And like I told, I've been coaching, but if I thought for 1 second I couldn't learn anything, well, I'm the fool in the room. And it was awesome. I thank Coach Del Moore again, because it was really cool to see a lot of the excitement that came out of that room, and ideas and the feedback that my coaches were asking for, getting. And I thought it's been a great help going in for this year for sure. I suggest every coach, because if you think football is a revolving, sport.
Yeah.
So there's always new things. And shoot, sometimes just like everything else, the past comes back. I mean, I'm running the D-wing this year. I never thought I'd run the D-wing. I remember when I was in high school, I said, it's the last offense I'm ever going to coach is this D-wing.
and then you brought it back.
Yeah, we brought it back. That's right. Coach Frank Conley, thank you for that.
Hey, how has relationships changed amongst your coaches? Like, because you were once a coach just like everybody else, and now you're kind of the boss. How has that changed, and how have you adjusted the relationships?
Yeah, it's. I would like to think that, of course, I haven't changed. I'm sure you think the same way. To be successful, kind of talking about what you were talking about earlier, I think you just have to be who you are. Granted, it is a business, though. I mean, we have to look at that. It's not meaning that's a business that we're out to make money by any means, but we need to make money, of course, to keep our doors open.
Exactly.
To keep more kids coming in. So you have to have that mentality. I mean, Kelly Williams, he's been with us for years now, and he was actually the president prior to me, and, with him and myself and a few other people, that are helping out, we had that business mentality first, to make sure that we can keep the doors open first and foremost. We can get the certain things in. But when it comes to saying how's it changed, I don't think really anyone has really ever changed. But I do think that every year, because we have 2 years of kind of an age group, if you would, per level. So like every other year, we're usually coaching with different coaches, but then maybe the next year we'll be coaching back with the coaches we were at 2 years ago. So I think we all know each other. We all feed off of each other, and we make each other better, because of that. So
Good.
Now,
Shout
I was
out to Cassandra real quick. She's speaking to us. We got to say, hey.
I was talking about the aspect of, you were like their equal, and now you're kind of the boss. Like, you call the shots. Because I'm sure when you first started coaching, there's probably things that the president or the leader of the league was doing wrong, and now you're in that position. Has that been a hard adjustment?
Well, for me, I can honestly say I think because we're brand new. I mean, this is our 6th season as the Lee County Hawks, starting up the only unlimited weight football team in Lee County, at the time, and in Cape Coral for that matter.
Right.
And we are so many kids that weren't playing football when we opened. We opened up our door, and we were at 175 kids in the first 2 weekends of signups. That's how many kids weren't playing football in Pop Warner.
Right.
And when I got involved, I think Drew, I'm just kind of that guy that I'm going to get in where I fit in. I'm going to do what I got to do. And I think me climbing up that way just kind of made the transition when I did become the president. I get my hands dirty. Last weekend I'm out there picking up the trash. So I don't think they see me any different because I'm the president. I like to believe they don't. I also like to believe that no matter what, I'm human and I err, but I own it, and I think they appreciate that.
And, another thing is we both operate with, boards in place. So, I mean, there's never a decision that's made just by one person.
Right.
It's always by a board vote. I think for the most part, we're always on the same page. So there's really not too much that's ever turned down, because if it's something that's crazy, it doesn't make sense, it's never really brought up. We already know it. So, I just like Shannon was saying.
And one of the things, too, I can vouch for both of these guys. I've seen, Coach Shannon got his truck on the track, driving around, dropping the water off, doing the dirty work. Coach Billy, he's doing the clock, riding around the golf cart, dumping the ice, making sure the kids are hydrated. So I must say, these guys, I can vouch for both of these guys because I've seen them.
You were doing it last week, too.
Yeah, it was one of the things, I was out there, I say I might as well do something. So, and Watlow kind of turned me up to make me be something important. So I say, hey, I'm out here. I might as well serve some water because the kids could die. He said death.
Isn't he the world's greatest water boy?
Yes, he the worst. So I'm
That's
trying.
right.
I'm trying to take his job.
But he didn't work that hard because he left and his New Air Jordans were still white. They were still clean.
No, but I know how to. You know what I'm saying? Get in, and get off the cart. You know what I'm saying? Without touching the grass, you got to be smooth.
Hey, speaking of concession, man, that chicken was good, huh?
Slap your coach.
It makes you want to slap your coach, man. Make sure you guys check us out on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the Soul Bowl for smothered chicken and rice special. And also on Wednesdays and Fridays, meatloaf and mashed potatoes. Make you want to slap your coach. And Saturdays, 50-cent wings.
50-cent wings. Listen, I know a lot of y'all watch college football. Why in the world are you cooking when you can come to the Soul Bowl Cafe and get 50-cent wings? Why? Listen, come order you 100, 200 piece. Put your party together. Do that.
Don't forget that smothered pork chop.
Oh, yeah, you get you. And if you want to be stingy and get everybody else some wings, you can come and get the smothered pork chop. And guess what? It's only $5. $5.
And shout out to Cam Plumbing.
Believe it.
24/7 bail bonds. Don't get in trouble now. Yeah. Hey. Platinum Image Barbershop and CLB Auto Body.
Yes. So we're going to get back into these questions. Coach, you know, one of the things that I had a coach when I was young, and it was in St. Petersburg. I had a little attitude issue. I used to constantly get in trouble in school. And, you know, I was the stud on the team, and I didn't play one game because my mom told him that if he doesn't do something about it, they were going to take me off the team. So how do you guys handle discipline situations like, say, for instance, you got a guy that comes and, you know, been suspended, or the parents report, you know, hey, Johnny's not coming to practice today because he got in trouble in school. How do you handle a situation like that, Coach?
Well, first off, it's always nice if we know about it. Sometimes we don't know about it. The parents don't really fully get that. Right. I think the parents that have been with us for like 5 or 6 years, they understand it. They call us first, you know, and we're able to actually sit and talk to the kid. We've done tutoring before where they can't go out and practice or anything until they're inside doing the homework, you know. Right. My wife's actually helped out with that before with a couple players. And, yeah, there's a lot of us that do those type of things. Yeah, I know with, you know, like Coach Kelly, he actually will call the school and, you know, they'll actually give him feedback, you know, on what's going on with certain individuals. Because, you know, again, I mean, when you start getting at a higher level, you know, there are some individuals who unfortunately maybe don't have that support, don't have that guidance, you know. So they kind of look up to people who are actually doing that. You know, that's really what they want, you know. But, you know, again, if we know about it, the parents come and talk to us about it, you can rest assured we're definitely going to do something for them, you know.
Exactly.
And it's not necessarily, you know, just like physical punishment as in like running or high knees or up downs or things like that. It's actually just sitting down and talking with them because, you know, we have, I think, 7 coaches on my level, and every coach can get through to another player differently. Right. And there's always, you know, at least one kid, you know, that maybe the other coaches can't really get through to, but one coach can, you know, and we all know that. We all feed off of each other, and if we know about that, I can go to one of the coaches and say, hey, Coach T, you know, can you go over and talk to so-and-so? He's been having some issues, you know, in school. And usually you'll start to see him straighten right back up, you know, and get on the right path. And, you know, we reward him then with playtime, you know. So. Okay.
I ditto what he's saying there. I'll tell you, as a kid, there was one of those trouble kids like yourself. I got sent away to St. Pete, Admiral Farragut, because I was getting in trouble. And to this day, it's the best thing my dad ever did for me.
Right.
You know, growing up here and getting in trouble with all the kids. I went to elementary school and everything else. And when I joined the Hawks, the first thing I asked them when they wanted me to get involved with the board is that I wanted to duplicate what I was able to have going to that private school that my dad spent all that money on. That's kid, even my own kids, I can't spend that kind of money on them, you know, on that. I wish I could. So I wanted to try to implement that into our program, and they've backed us up on that. And we basically, same thing. I get involved and encourage the other coaches. Because I'm one person, as I've gotten other people to come and follow along. And I'm with my group on my U14 team. I know every single principles. The greatest thing about at the end of the year, we got to get those fourth quarter report cards.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you, the best way you can really learn about your kid is don't read the grades always. I look at the grades, trust me. Mm-hmm. but I read those
them
comments. And them comments will tell you exactly what
Yeah.
that kid is like at practice as well. So then I reach out when I find out who their teachers are. They all got to give me their teachers. I get all the interns, and we follow up. And sometimes just really what was worked more for me over the last couple of years, knowing that a kid has had some problems, when you start seeing they've done well, instead of just pointing out when they've done something wrong, I jump all over it, call the teacher, hey, he's doing this. And that positive is done really well by me and over the last couple of years. I can say that one of my favorite, Jason Landrum, shout out to you, buddy, over at Cypress Lake High School as a freshman. He was one that just constantly kind of, having some issues, just little things. And when he started doing well, instead of me just picking on him when he made a mistake, got on him. And let me tell you, I could not be more proud of the young man right now, him and Ladarius from the past. Yep.
Hey, I know part of being a good role model of being self-reflective. Talk about one of your greatest coaching moments and one of your lowest coaching moments, i.e. running clock, where you really dropped the ball.
I'll tell you, probably I'm going to use one of the freshest to my mind was this last week. We had a young man who right at the beginning of the season went down, and we thought maybe dehydration or something. We get him water right away, but we realized, we hadn't really done much. Something was there. So his parents took him home, and he got diagnosed. And I can't go through the medical term on him. He basically had a heart issue, and so they had to get it all checked, numerous tests, and then to find out he had some issues, and they were going to do a heart procedure on it. It's one of the ones where they don't go in and open heart surgery; they go up through the leg. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And so he's been out since before Jamboree, and the team, we talked about him, we prayed for him and all that. And that's all great when the coach is leading you, telling you about it, and they're coming together and they're talking about him. I mean, he's been there for 2 years. Well, he came back. His first practice was last week, right? And I'm going through the coaches. We hadn't practiced Tuesday or Wednesday. First practice we really got to get to was Thursday. And as they're doing their warm-ups, I'm trying to talk to my coaches about making some adjustments. We got to get a whole week's of practice in one night.
Yeah.
And I look over and I see they got that young man in the middle. They made him the captain. They let him lead them out. And then after they break, they always come together and they'll talk about what they want to get focused. Let them kind of, the older boys, they know what they got to do. They know what they got to talk about. And they put him on that pedestal. They let him know that he was missed and he was loved. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was glad I was wearing my sunglasses because I was a little teary-eyed there and excited. In fact, I ran right over to my vice president, Alicia, and said, this team's getting it. Win, lose, or draw, how we feel, I'm already feeling like a winner because this team is coming together as a team. And that's my number one job.
So actually, you had your lowest and highest moment in the same scenario.
That's pretty much right.
That's what's up, Coach Billy.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing that he was somebody. I didn't have that situation, of course, but whenever you see any, young players and they get hurt, and especially when they really are hurt and they're out for the remainder of the year, I think that's probably my lowest point, of course, whenever you see that happen. And it's something that I think about pretty much every game, and it's not one of those that, it's just when I see a player go down, I kind of hope that it's not a course of worse, and it's just something that's going to be simple, we both kind of operate the same way, whether it's one of our players or one of their players, we're playing each other. I'm on that sideline too. We're going over whenever there's a player down, because that's the horror stories that you hear about, and you just really hope you're never associated with.
Yeah.
So we've had some injuries, before where kids have been out for basically a full year, knee injuries, things like that. And again, that's never fun. That's definitely going to be the low point right there. And high point again is just since I've been coaching. Actually, my first year, Tiny Mites, we were in Pop Warner at the time, so and it was That was definitely a challenge because that was 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, and 7-year-olds at that time, to certain dates. So there was a big age gap there from a 7 to a 5-year-old. But that was one that we ended up going a little bit over 500 that year. Well, the next year did a game better than that. Next year, a couple games better than that. And every single year we've actually had, a better record every single year. And probably a third of these kids that are on this year, and then next year, same thing, that are already playing at 12U now, I'll be back with. They're the same, same bunch. I mean, we have different styles, like you were saying, running different offense and all that stuff earlier, but, it's getting those kids together every other year. So we probably have about a third of the kids that are always with me.
Right.
So
now, I must ask this. What do you guys think about a feeder program? And what I mean by that is, like I kind of see you doing it a little bit, but, do you see yourself, creating a feeder program for Cypress Lake? Because from the programs that I see winning, like I'm watching the Warriors of Liberty City right now. So pretty much those kids come from Liberty City, and then or they go to Northwestern or they go to Central.
Yep.
So they literally, are in a system and around the same people and evolved and learning from kind of like the same coaches and stuff. How do you see that, playing a role in Cypress' future?
We've again, Shannon and I, we talk quite a bit, and being involved with the same league, of course, and we talk quite a bit, with just kind of our vision, what we see, what we hope to see. And one thing we have talked about before is, we're basically Collier County and Lee County for Southwest Florida U Football League. Right. Collier County is a zoned area, a boundary area when it comes to even at the youth levels. So they're kind of more used towards that feeder system, if you would. Here, to tell you the truth, I'm kind of surprised that we don't see as much high school coach activity as we do, like out at our practice fields and out at our games. And I really don't understand why, because when they have maybe a list of, well, really they can go anywhere, but when they have a list of 4 or 5 high schools that they can get bused to in their area, you would think that they would be a little bit more involved with that, and they're not, and I really don't understand it, why they're not involved more than what they are. But, we definitely don't try to push kids
a certain way. Right.
We definitely don't. But I mean, if they come and they ask us, what our feedback is of it, of course we're going to be honest. I mean, they've been, playing with us for 7-8 years.
Right.
So last thing we're going to do is mislead them, and then we don't want to do that in any way. So I do think that again, it'd be nicer if we had a little bit more involvement, from the high school levels, coming down to this level, because like right now, you look at them, you just talked about Cypress, and there's quite a few kids on that varsity team right now actually came from us, or played with us, for numerous years. Yeah. And again, that has nothing to do with us deterring to go that way. It's just, some of those kids live in that area and they want to go there. So.
Well, you need to feed them some chicken, and you need to feed them some more players. Shout out to Owen.
I think Cape High is undefeated. Well, I know Cape High is undefeated. I think they eating at the Soul Bowl Cafe some of this smothered chicken and pork chop. You know what I'm saying?
You hear that, Coach Greaves?
You know what I'm talking about? So make sure right now, for all you hungry people that's tuned in, listen, call in right now. First caller, 239-332-0708. 239-332-0708. First caller wins a free meal.
Come on, Jamie, call in, baby.
Yes, hey, you better get that free meal. Coach they already got it. We sitting up here good right now.
You ever wish you had a remote, like when you're walking, on the field, and then you have that one parent that you can hit the mute button on?
Ever?
Stage parent.
Ever?
What do you guys think about the stage parent?
Well, first off, it's not one parent some of the time.
I'll never call out names, but yes.
How do you handle them?
I'll be honest with you. Like, the first thing when I'm out there I'm hosting a game. We have to host, and I want to be a good host, and we rely on our volunteers. I mean, I can't do it myself, and between our board that does a great job, but we can't do it without our parents getting involved. With that being said, I never want to be stuck somewhere. I never want to be stuck in the concessions or at the gate or even in the booth, because they're going to find me. And if I see someone across the field and I just put my head down and I go real fast, I didn't hear him, I didn't see him. So the answer to that question is yes. Yes. And it's just because honestly, I'll listen to them. I have an open door policy. They know how to get a hold of me, but they always seem to catch you right when you're on your way. You got something to do, and they want to tell you something that is so not the time or place.
Right. And I know you said a mute button, but I mean, is there actually like an on-off button too that we can just turn them off?
Put them on. Listen, make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Right now, we're running a contest. $500, man. It's cash. I know a lot of y'all need it. We're going to do the giveaway at Estero versus Lehigh halftime show. Yes, Big Dreams will be live in effect there at Estero. My alumni there, giving us a shout out, paying tribute to us from '98 season. So it's only right that we give away $500. But you got to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Big Dream Sports TV YouTube. Make sure you like, share the show, and also drop your email in here for our special promotions. Because listen, we got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes cooking up, baby.
Yeah. Don't forget to cut the check. Okay? Cut the check.
Hey, cut the check. Because you know what? We ain't going to be here for long, baby.
Volunteering, that's a subject that we talked
here
about
we go.
on Facebook. Tell me how annoying it is when the person that doesn't do anything has so much to say about your prospective program. You know what? I'll fire shots if you won't. I know you guys got to be, political, but
I'm not your dad.
Well, I don't know if it's because of basically I have the policy, if you don't want to hear the truth, don't ask the question. And I think over the last couple of years, for the most part, I think people understand that. If you ask me, I'm going to ask you, well, you sure you want to hear the truth on that?
Yes.
From those people, if you will. And we haven't, and we're very lucky. I want to say the Hawks, and I'm not saying anybody else isn't, but I don't know what's going on over there. You know what I mean? I think I'm a very fortunate member of the Hawks that we do pretty well getting volunteers out there. And also some of that comes with having so many parents involved. And not every organization has that luxury, if you will. So, but in the past, yes, I've had parents that you're almost like, well, you drop your kid off and you leave. And now you're going to tell me how we should be doing things?
Exactly.
I don't see you getting your hands dirty. Yeah. And I think, honestly, I've nipped that in the butt by just being brutally honest with that right there. I'll be honest. That's what I've done. And I don't come at them in an angry way. I'm like, well, I didn't see you with your volunteer sheet out. Because that's my first couple years with that parent who would tell me what offense I should be running, what defense. I had the paper right in my envelope right here. Here's the volunteer sheet. Yep. So, I need coaches. I only got 4 right now.
So basically, I'm going to wrap it up for Coach. If you don't volunteer, shut up. Don't come out there. We don't want to hear it. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, you pay your money, but it's a lot more goes into it than them little $150, $200 that you're paying to make sure little juke get on the field. You don't know what we got to deal with when little juke is out there juking and chasing butterflies. So shut up. If you want your opinion heard, volunteer. Do your job. Coach Billy?
Exactly what he said. I mean, it's again, it's one of those, if you don't want to hear the truth, then, don't ask, you know, because sometimes the things that they're saying, it's pretty obvious, and we've had the same situation like he's talking about. I mean, exactly to the T. And it's every year we probably have maybe 10% that are like that. Actually, just about 2 weeks ago, I just saw a parent for the first time that I've never even seen before. I didn't even know who they were. So, and that's okay. I get it. People have lives. We have lives. We work and do all that stuff too. But the ones that will sit there and bark in the background and all that stuff, I do the same thing, or we've done the same thing, and it's like, hey, why don't you volunteer then? If you can do it so much better, why don't you come do it yourself? And they'll usually just stop right then and there, and they won't say anything else. But for the most part, we have a good group of parents.
Yes.
I mean, we really do. We have support even, from you guys, and you guys help us out, throughout the year. And again, even if it's just, that's what I think some people, I think the perception is we ask them to volunteer during their kids' games, and we don't.
Right.
It's like we ask you to bring the kids about 2 hours early, anyways, because we have book check, get them ready, do all that stuff, stretch and warm up. So that's when we ask for the volunteers to come, is during that time. So you're already coming 2 hours early, anyways. And if everyone did that, I mean, everything, of course, would go so much easier, so much smoother. And sometimes, we're out there, and I know Saturday nights, I mean, for him, it's even a little later because sometimes at home he's got 7 games. We got 5. But, I mean, we're getting home, my whole family, my kids and my wife, and we're getting up at 6 in the morning, being there at 7:15, 7:30, and we're not getting home until 10 o'clock at night. It's worth it, though. I mean, it definitely is worth it. We would still be there that long anyways, whether we had all the volunteers or not. Not saying we wouldn't, but yeah, it hurts, that night when you're going to bed, you sleep sound, next day you wake up and you get that day off. But like I said, I think for the most part, most of the parents.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it takes a village to raise kids. And let's go back to that old tradition. Like you people sit up here and stop focusing just on your kid. Your kid has his friends out there. Your kid is going to hang around those kids that's on the team. So if your kid, Lil Juke is a bad influence on everybody else, Lil Juke need to, he need a little loving from you and, the other volunteers around. So the biggest thing for me is I feel like everybody should be involved, whether it's just picking up some trash around, just support the organization. You're out here anyways. You feel what I'm saying? Stop letting that money make you entitled to just, sit out there and complain, because I be in the stands. I hear a lot of y'all complaining. So you feel what I'm saying?
Well, you guys going to get some side eyes.
Hey, listen, they didn't say it. I said it. That's right. Hey, I don't run the organization.
There you go.
Hey, but once again, thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate everybody. Go like, subscribe to the show, and we're going to keep on going with these questions.
Yeah, man. Hey, name a success story, and what I'm talking about is like that kid, like it could be your first year, whatever year, that kid that barely played, and then you look up and they're a stud now. Can you name a couple kids that was barely playing and then now they're they finally got it?
Yeah, I can definitely name some kids, and along with that, and some of those cases are kids that. Where I looked at them report cards, and the very first year, kid was not very good football player, first year player, and his grades were, I would just say, my kid wouldn't have probably played football if my kid had those grades. And this was with a couple other kids in a situation as where I came up where I reached out to my board and said we need to get something more for these kids. We got to set up something more.
Right.
And at the time, Lee County School Board didn't offer tutoring at their schools. They had to do away with it for whatever reason. So we implemented a tutoring program. We got a couple teachers on their side, and they taught out the Chiquita Library. And one of these kids in particular, minimum play kid, grades were minimum, and now he's a Division I prospect. And I'm talking, this was a kid that I really was kind of like, I don't think football's for him.
Right.
I mean, sometimes football is not for everybody. But as I told kids every year, if I tell you, if I don't, you want to play a certain position, and I say, well, you're not ready to play that position, use that as nothing but motivation.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love every kid, but even the coach, I'm telling you, use my words as motivation. Use every time you failed, use that person in those words as motivation. And with that being said, This kid used my words of motivation because I told him straight up, with these grades, you ain't going to play high school football. You can forget about college. And if you don't start running some suicides or, getting over to do a jumping jack right, you're not going to be playing football. And he looked right at me and goes, Coach, you don't know me. And I'll never, you're right, I don't know you. And I'm going to tell you right now, this kid is Division I prospect now. He's got letters coming in, and there's many stories like that, but that one sticks out because of the grades.
Exactly.
That one sticks out to me a little bit.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think right now mine is still in progress, if you would, because again, started at a younger age. These kids are now in, with level I'm coaching is fifth grade, maybe a couple fourth graders in there, and I think there's maybe one sixth grader, if I'm not mistaken. But I think it's still in progress. We're not fortunate to have 100% people coming back every single year. Sometimes, like I said, football is not for everyone. But to see these kids every year, so I think it's all the kids that I've been coaching, over the last 6 years now. To see these kids coming back every year, and they understand that, again, talking about there's more to life than just sports, but they understand now that there's a connection there that in high school they can't play ball. If they don't have good grades, they can't play ball. They got to have the grades, and the more that we say it, the better it is. So I think, like I said, right now, ours is still in progress. It's happening as we speak now, and hopefully it will continue to happen.
Yeah, I keep forgetting because I bounce around. I haven't coached the same group of kids ever.
Right.
I bounce around wherever kind of I'm needed. I'll go. This is actually this year is the first time I've coached the team that I coached the very first year. I was offensive coordinator with this group. I coached 2 teams my first year.
Shout them out.
Yeah.
Shout them out. Who you're talking about?
All them kids. Shoot, hey, I'm gonna tell you one just reason. Caden Brinkley. There's a kid that started out on my JV team, and this young man is he's very important to the offense and defensive side. And this kid probably would have never had that opportunity if we didn't have the 2 teams. In fact, I know he wouldn't have played football at all because our first team was already filled, and we put him on that second team. Yeah. And we thought about moving him up, but he would have played a minimum play kid. So we put him on that JV, and he got the reps. He got to play more, and next thing you know, now he's here, and he's a 3-way starter. He starts on special teams as well. Yeah. And there's a kid, again, he improved on his grades. So, And there's a kid, I'll tell you right now, he told me I should be on varsity. I'm like, well, you're on JV. Well, now he's a three-way starter, if you will. You know what I mean?
Hey,
and
there
he used
it
my
is.
words as motivation.
So now, me and Johnson talk a lot on the phone, and we were talking about one thing, about grades and high school 2.0. We said, they should raise it to a 3.0, because I feel like if they do that, it gives kids a better opportunity to get in school, and because a lot of kids are not good test takers.
Yep.
And if you got if you got a 3.0 or better, your test scores can be lower. So what do you guys think about, raising the bar of the GPA? Because I know for a fact that, if my nephews don't even pull a stunt like that, I'm going across their head.
Yeah, no. I think it should be a 2.5, if anything, at minimum. I mean, I know
You got to be a
a lot of the
2.5 to get into college.
Yeah, exactly. So
You know what I mean?
A lot of the coaches, that's how we operate, But again, we request the report cards. I know you do the same thing. With our league, we're actually supposed to have a copy of the most updated report card when the book gets certified, but it doesn't stop there. A lot of us, we continue to ask the parents, and the good news is it comes by email now, so they can just forward it right to us. And we don't have to worry about a printed copy coming in or anything like that. But, they need to understand, because all these kids, they all run around, whether they're 5 years old or 13 years old, they all run around thinking they're going to be the next star. They're going to be the next star. No matter how good they are, they're going to be the next star, And I think the more we talk about it, and the more that you guys talk about it too, and the more they understand it, they'll take it seriously, and they'll start at an earlier age, like you were saying, and then maybe get better for taking tests by the time they get into high school, for entrance exams and.
Yeah, I agree. They should raise it, and the main purpose of raising it is, I tell my sons and my kid, every kid on my team. Okay, I'm sorry calling them my sons, but when they tell me, I ask them, well, what kind of grades you going to get this year? I go, A's and B's. I'm like, A's and B's? That ain't good enough. It's all A's.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you set a standard, a 2.0. What standard are you really setting? You're letting them just enough. And a 3.0, it be average, is a minimum goal, in my opinion. A 2.5 is what you have to get into college. So when you say, okay, we're going to let you get in with a 2.0 and be eligible to play, but you can be all that, but you ain't getting into a Division I school.
Right.
You're not. You know what I mean? Now, there's other options kids can. Like some kids, they start out slow, and they got to mature. A lot of times it's the maturity and not so much the intelligence. But when you set a standard, it's so low, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's setting them up for failure.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
We have the luxury of living in Florida, and I don't know why people don't talk about this enough, as the Florida Bright Futures. A 3.0, you can get 75% of your tuition paid at any Florida institution. A 3.5, I think you can get 100%. How come that's not talked about enough?
And it's one of those situations where, and I'm just going to speak from my experience, like the standards in the bar was low. I didn't have, too much guidance on, grade. So I went through school, and listen, it was a 2.0. That's all I'm going to get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't no homework being done. It was just, listen, 2.0, that's all I need to play. And it carried on to college. And I actually, got Coach Jerry Moore. He actually told me, he said, listen, 2 semesters you literally came and you done had a 2.0 or 1.9. He said you need to run up the top of the stadium, piss in the wind, because that's what your future is looking like right now.
Right.
And I was like, wow. And this guy, you know what I'm saying, like if anybody knows Jerry Moore is a Christian, very upstanding guy. But when he told me that, I had to realize something like, listen, I'm getting a $60,000 scholarship to play football, and I'm just here for football. And it was not the case in Coach Moore's eyes. Like, listen, you need to get this free education and take advantage of everything, and, like my nephews, them know, they better not at all bring home a C. If it do, we got personal problems. They probably be running and everything else.
Right. Well, I'll tell you one thing I've seen more and more. It's almost one school at a time. Like he was touching on why we don't have more coaches out on the youth levels. There are certain things that somebody can say. Are they recruiting or something like
yeah.
that.
Right.
That's kind of out the window with the new rules.
Yes.
Okay, with
Yeah.
certain things, there's no more real boundaries technically, especially in Lee County. But with that being said, is I'm watching and I was bummed when Ernest stepped down from North, because the one thing I can speak with a lot of my kids that came from the Hawks and played at North, and how tirelessly that whole coaching staff worked and just rode my kids. I told him, hey, this kid means a lot to me. And he's like, well, I got him. And he got him. I didn't have to keep you, because he would let me know, hey, he's, kind of slipping up, but I got him. And the job as a coach, in my opinion, a high school coach, is to, further their education of football,
Exactly.
but get them really ready, prepared for college. As I tell everybody, my job is to get you ready for high school football.
Yep.
That when a coach calls me and says, man, your kids, they're ready to play high school football. That's the greatest honor.
Right.
Bigger than any hardware I can get, because I didn't win that trophy. Them kids did.
Yeah.
That being said, when a coach says, hey, your kids are ready, I feel great. But now some of these coaches, I think, can learn something, from them. And I think it's growing. I'm listening. I think Chaney's doing an amazing job over there. I can speak from Coach Moore working, being at his field. And I know Coach Mack with a lot of my kids that went over to Oasis.
Right.
And that's an upcoming small school program that I'm excited to see what happens with over
Yeah,
there.
well, Demetric Page, shout out. Appreciate you for tuning in. Said, a lot of the coaches are just happy if the kids they just letting the kids get by, and I see that a lot. Like, if these are the kids, these are the people that's going to run our country, that's going to, be politicians, judges, criminals, all this stuff here. Like, I hate to say it, but, this is our future, and if you don't require them to, step their game up, then, we're constantly going backwards. And, football is a tool that when kids come out there, you have their focus, their attention, and they respect you 9 times out of 10. Some of them don't, but
Not always.
they respect you and they value your opinion. So, you conduct yourself, professionally, and you also understand that, listen, I'm molding you to push you on to the next journey. And I don't think a lot of coaches understand that, because I think a lot of coaches are out there for, their son. I seen this personally with you. You took a huge step back this year. Your son was supposed to be the star this year, but you took a huge step back. And you let,
Don't let him hear that. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't think that was it.
No, I'm being honest. I seen the kid. I'm not going to just sugarcoat anything. And you took a huge step back, and you let other people touch your son, get involved. You let Connect University get involved with your son. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we as parents, when we go, it goes back to the volunteering thing. This is why we volunteer, because we show kids, hey, listen, we can do stuff for free. It don't always have to be about the money. It's a bigger picture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's come out here and let's enjoy what we got going on. Let's take care of what we got going on. Let's look out for one another, because the Hawks, are the Hawks. That's your organization. The Hornets are the Hornets. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like right now, Hawks Nation, Hornets Nation. That's your world, and you have the kids that you have to touch, and you have the kids that you have to touch. Yeah. And and then Mr. Wayne just shout out, say we need to get our last free meal in. Hit him with the promo real quick though.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, come and get your smothered chicken.
So good.
So good. Smothered chicken and yellow rice. So good, make you want to slap your coach.
Don't try it. Don't you try it.
Once again, FSU is not playing so good, so I'm going to be honest with you right now. Saturday, 50-cent wings. If you want to brighten up your day before it gets a little devastating. I'm an FSU fan. Well, I'm an App State fan now. I'm going to wait till we start winning, then I'm going to jump back on the bandwagon.
50-cent wings.
50-cent wings on Saturday.
You can fill up your turnover purse if you were ever
Bro, it's a book bag, bro. Because we buy our kids
turnover
education.
purse. Hey,
Come on, bro.
Wednesdays and Fridays, meatloaf and mashed potatoes. So good.
Make it want to slap your coach.
Hey, man, shout out to our sponsors, Cam Plumbing, 24/7 Bail Bondsman.
For all you Cowboy fans.
Yep, for all you Platinum Image Barbershop, CLB Auto Body.
So right now, last meal of the day. I know it's some hungry folks. And you bus drivers and all y'all might want to come on that lunch break tomorrow and get some of this mother pork chop we talking about. Call in now, 239-332-0708. 239-332-0708. Nunu, you cannot get no free meal. After the weekend you just had, dead. Don't you even try, buddy.
Hey, I know everything gets heated and, your competitive juices are flowing. How do you make sure that the kids are having fun?
Man, honestly, everything I do in this world, I want to be the best at. Anybody spend 5 minutes with me, outside of my wife, I'm probably one of the most competitive people in the world, all right? With that being said, sometimes you just got to step back and say, they're kids.
Yeah.
Right.
And you put that much pressure where you define yourself by winning, and that's what I tell them all the time. Winning to me is knowing that a kid wants to keep playing football, that he wants to achieve bigger things. So sometimes, if I had to give you an example, sometimes you just got to mix it up and kind of take the pressure of running through an offense and let's run some kind of game. One thing I probably had the most fun with is let the lineman throw the ball into the trash can one time. In a game, yes, I do that when we're winning. If we're really winning, I
Come on,
it's a
man.
lot of fun.
You ain't gonna let Refrigerator Perry get in the end zone, baby.
Oh man, we let
So we can do a
Big Mari
triple
Davis,
shuffle?
Big Mari Davis run the ball against Cypress last week, and we didn't even practice it. And I'll be honest with you, 2 weeks ago, and we told him he's running the ball, and I thought he was going to tell us no because he's like, I'm running the ball. I'm like,
But that's not
I'm going to
because
score.
That's not because
I'm
they
gonna
were
score.
up. I just want to make sure. So
No, we were.
No, I'm
up.
joking.
We won. Yeah. No, you spanked my U10.
Oh,
team.
there you go. We won. There you go. I knew it wasn't going to be
that's
long.
just healthy banter right there, man.
Don't
We do
get
it all the time.
competitive. Football coach.
But it was exciting because I'm going to tell you, and the greatest thing about that was that the whole team was like, Mari.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we never even practiced it one time. We're just like, okay, we run the ball, for a first down. He's a big boy.
Right.
And let him see if he can get us this first down. And he
Truffle
did.
shuffle,
And I'll
baby.
tell you what, to listen to their boys, you would have thought we just, we won the championship. But
Right.
it was because they were excited for him. Sometimes you just got to mix it up. And I'll tell you, the roughest I ever am on the kids generally is right after we win. That's when I really get on them because they always feel a little too bigger in their
Like
britches. And I want to bring them back down. It's
That
still
bubble
time to
head.
work. You know what I mean? On a loss, it kind of show, give my opinion of where we need to work, but also let them know you're good. I still love you.
Yeah, and same thing that we're just talking about, letting the big kids run the ball sometimes, especially those linemen don't get enough credit, get enough love. And I remember a couple years ago, actually I think it was last year, we were up and we were giving one of our linemen, a chance to get a 2-point conversion in, and wildcat right. When you're shotgun, you can see that it's right. We're telling everyone where we're going. We're so off balance on that right side, and we told him just get the ball, run right. And he got the ball. He was so excited, he ran left. Got tackled by 3 guys, but it was still fun. All the kids were having fun. But at practice, at games, our kids know we talk about having to switch, turning it on when we're on the field, and that switch is there. We're there to play ball. We're there. We're a competitive team. Yes, we want to have fun, but they practice too hard to not do the things that they know they can do, and afterwards, we turn that switch off. There's kids that come over, I'm sure, to Shannon's house too after every game on Saturday, on Sundays, and same here. We have people over and kids over all the time. They know I'm not running around yelling at them, telling them what to do. I yell at my own kids, but there's a reason for that.
Oh, yeah.
But everyone, it's just they know there's a switch more or less, But when we're there to practice and we're there to play, it's game time, and they know that. So you'll hear us yelling. Sometimes I'm the loudest one, and I don't yell as often. So when I do yell, I think it really kind of gets their attention. They're like, "Whoa, he's really mad," no, again, it's a good group of kids, good group of parents. So for the most part, everyone's there to have fun, and we can have fun because everyone's bought in.
I'll tell you, still, even though mostly 13 and 14-year-olds, I don't know what it is, but a relay race gets these kids so excited. But I'm like, oh, man, let's just relay them. And they watch
do it
it, and then they want to get mad. I put this kid on this team, this kid. And then, it's funny because I know when I lost the attention of the 5 and 6-year-olds, I said, all right, let's work on ball skills. So we're just going to do a relay with the football. And, to me, I accomplished something. But now they're like, Coach, can we relay race?
Yeah.
Can we relay?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Or
man, all right.
if you really want to have a good time, just have the kids all try to do a punting contest because 2/3 of the kids can barely even, throw the ball up and punt it or anything. That's always a good time.
Do you think that gets lost a lot? That aspect of it? Because
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, playing football, like Saturdays used to be I live for Saturday.
Yeah.
You go see your friends, you have fun. The game was kind of like, oh yeah, we had to play a game. But
The games
it was-
afterwards.
the
were more
games
fun.
after,
Yeah.
the games afterwards
I remember
were
that
more
too.
fun. Like
Yeah.
your friends from cross town and everything.
Yeah.
Do you think that's lost?
I don't want to say it's lost. I just think it's gotten bigger. The stage has gotten bigger. Along with, like even training. Over here with Connect U. If you're not doing things, kind of in the off season, not necessarily having to play tackle football, but just doing things, having something, you can get behind. And if you get too far behind, it's very hard, to dig yourself out of that hole, dig your program out of that hole, or dig your team out of that hole. So I wouldn't say it's lost. I just think, again, it's kind of a bigger stage. And, we let our kids, have a good time after, like I said, the games. And sometimes I'll watch them over on the side by the scoreboard, and you see them, they're being rough and they're tackling people, left and right. And here's my little 10-year-old tackling a 13-year-old, but I'll let them do it a little bit, and then after a while, I'll kind of go over and be like, hey, stop. It's getting a little too rough now. But,
I agree a lot with that. I don't think it's lost. I just think sometimes I think some of these parents put a lot of pressure that my kid's the next, so-so. You know what I mean? I really do. And one thing I will say I've seen a little bit more this year in my own organization is I don't see the kids staying as long, all day. When I remember when I was a kid, I love to go home. My dad knew, like, what time are you done? I'm like, not till the Raiders. I play for Norfolk Myers. Not till the Raiders are done. When that game's over, then I'm coming home, because I wanted to be out there all day playing football and
watching football.
And like you said, growing up here, and I've lived all over in Lee County, 5 generations from here. So I played, like I said, 1 year for the Rebels, and then I went to Norfolk Myers and played for Norfolk Myers. But I went to school with kids all over back then. They used to bus. And so I had kids. I'll never forget Virgil Malloy played for Riverdale. The Wildcats, and me and him, I couldn't wait to play the Wildcats. Not so much to go against him, but I got to hang out with him on a Saturday instead of where every time we talked to each other, one of us wasn't getting in trouble. So I couldn't wait, to hang out with him and them other friends that I didn't get to see normally. I don't see a lot of that besides like when we play Cypress, because I've got kids that played for Cypress, and I haven't had a chance yet to play the whole organization Stingrays. I'm looking forward to it because I've got kids that played over there. I got kids that go to school with kids, so I'm really looking forward to that. And a big shout out to the Stingrays for filling a need, in our community because, like I got a lot of kids unfortunately when the Rattlers closed down. But now, look how many kids they got over there.
In
That's
1
how many
year.
kids really weren't playing football. Not all, some were playing somewhere.
Right.
But a lot of kids are playing football over there. And to know that that's growing over there, I'm really excited for that, especially the fact that they're in our league.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
And I just literally that speaks a lot about your character right there, Coach, because a lot of people won't come on here and talk about another organization. So, that's huge. You know what I'm saying? And once again, I appreciate you guys coming on the show because I know you guys are presidents and even you probably got rained out, but you got your families, and I appreciate you guys showing Soul Bowl Cafe some love. Getting your free meal. And showing Big Dream some love, man. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all the fans that's tuned in. Like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, share this, and we'll be back next week. And if you want to be the next coach or president that comes onto the show, inbox Big Dream Sports TV, and we'll have you on.
Shout out to our sponsors, man. Cam Plumbing,
Yeah.
24/7 Bail Bondsman, Platinum Image Barbershop, and CLB Auto Body. Make sure you guys come to the Soul Bowl on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
For what?
For that smothered chicken and yellow rice. So good, make you want to slap your coach.
Believe it.
And Wednesdays and Fridays, meatloaf and mashed potatoes. So good.
You want to slap your coach.
And on Saturdays, 50-cent wings and smothered pork chops.
And if you're a
yellow
Miami
rice.
Hurricane fan with that fake chain, come get you some of these 50-cent wings. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all might want to keep that 24/7 bell bombing on standby because you know how y'all rock. We'll be back.
Florida State Criminals? Oh,
No, bro. We don't do nothing but steal crab legs. We don't stay locked up for long, baby.
And make sure you call 24/7 bail bonds
Believe
if you're a Florida State criminal.
No, Miami Hurricane, because they're going to turn y'all in for that fake chain, being imposters. All right, we out, man. I
All right,
appreciate
man.
y'all.